Hi, I'm Comic Tunverse. This is the best Green Lantern comic I've ever read. And this is literally coming from a guy who have read zero Green Lantern comic book. I don't know if there's any that anybody can recommend, but I find Green Lantern comic very boring. And so I just dropped them after reading um, an issue or two. But an absolute Green Lantern caught my attention with just the introduction. It was very sinister. Like seeing main character or the hero looking shady with just an introduction. And Green Lantern doesn't seem like the type of character to be so shady. I like, damn, who is this drug addict? And he looked shady, the appearance, everything looked depressed. I was like, okay, okay, it's gonna be good. And so he was walking down the road and then he meets this cop and then the cop tells him to raise up his hand. His hand was in his pocket the whole time. And so he tells him to raise up his hand because he's like a drug addict. But he refused and tells the cop, "You don't want to do this. Please let me go." Blah blah blah. And then the cop was very sus of him. So he was like, "Nah, you need to bring out your hands. Is that a weapon?" And then the next thing I see, the cop is dead with his badge lying down on the ground. I'm like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for. Like this is what I've been waiting for. This is the type of introduction I've been waiting for. And so the comic actually begins with him walking into a bar. And then when he gets there, he says, "Give me, I need water." And then he sit down, looking depressed. Like he was so tense, like there was a lot on him. They were all looking at him like, damn, this guy has been walking miles and he's tired. Did your car break down? Blah blah blah. And then they were showing this was there a football match or something on the telly? And then they just they just cut it off and then showed this breaking news that this is what are happening. This is a live footage from Evergreen where Gordon was coming from. And then he was like, when the scene was showing, he just pressed the button. And then it goes back 3 days ago where he was just sitting down with John and one lady, no spoilers, and one lady. And then they were just talking casually like normal friends chit chat. It's not part of the. It's not necessary for the plot, and so I'm going to just ignore that. And then bikers were roaming, also not part of the plot. A bit, maybe one part is part of it. And then they were chatting, and then a doom just hit the ground all of a sudden, and the biker, for one biker, I mean, and one biker moving about I don't know how many kilometers per hour, just hits the doom, and then he dies. Like I don't know how to describe this scene. It was so gory and so cinematic. I'm not saying gory is not cinematic, just that I don't have a thing for it. I just think it was cinematic. Yes, let me put it at that. And so the guy dies, and then the bike is also burning. And they were like, "What's going on? We are in some doom." And then we see a shady looking guy like Goro from MK. He was up there, and then they were like, okay. Then there's a Green Lantern battery over there. And then that's where the scene comes back to the present day. And like I was there, um, he seemed frightened and he seemed very defensive when the guy was like, "You were there, what happened?" And like, it's not my fault. He was so defensive. And I'm like, okay, why are you so being defensive? I mean, you were not the one who did that. And then you're like, the guy gave him something, the Abib, sir. Yeah, that's what he called him. If I didn't mention it correctly, I beg your pardon, sirs, madam. And then he said he was there. The guy gave him something. So they all thought it was a weapon. Some of them thought it was a nuke or whatever. But then he told them it's not a weapon and they shouldn't try to be so offensive. And so the thing responds to danger. And it literally happened to a cop. The cop was like, "Hey, what's in there?" And then all of a sudden he died. And so they shouldn't do that. That's literally telling the person to do that. And so they reach out for a gun under their bar and they were like, bring put your hand out. And one guy literally just pulls the hands out and there's his hand is so dark. It was so cool. It was so cool. It was so cool. And then when they see the hand, they just shot him. I thought he was going to die. But then he just, with a dark hand, he reached out to the bullet and like, maybe I'm going to die from this. Literally salvation. As soon as he was trying to take the bullet, or the dark thing was trying to take over his body, the lady who was with him and John just entered
Say
like,
what?
"Yo, Gordon, what's up?" Like, so cool. She looked like a Green Lantern cop, and I think that's the main character for this absolute Green Lantern. And the comic is actually nice. Maybe I didn't say it well, but then it seemed nice, shady, dark, and it's going to be absolute peak cinema. I'm going to read the next issue. I'll give you updates after, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notification for more comic related content. And peace out.